What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my series where we're making a monochromatic building survival game. Basically, you survive the night and you build a base and you try to keep your base alive as long as possible. So I've added a couple things to the game so you can see that there's now treasure chests. So at the beginning, if you don't want to spend your time building or whatever, you could use the fast forward and walk around and try to find the treasure chest. If you do, you'll be rewarded with like whatever comes out of the chest. Right now I have it set to like a lot, so it probably won't be that much in the actual game. It looks like 15 portals dropped, so that's kind of a lot. But anyway, so we'll just build a base and okay, and something I want to point out is that I finally fixed the walls. So if you build two walls in a row now, it's not gonna like do the thing where it like overlaps and turns into like corner pieces. The corner piece still does work though. So if you build a wall like perpendicular, because these two are side by side, it doesn't work. But if you build like just two walls like this now, it will still do the corner thing. But if you have two walls that are like this, it doesn't like automatically try to turn it into a thing. And then you, of course, you can go in and like manually put a corner wall if you want to. But yeah, because before it was like doing some weird stuff. So I finally fixed that logic. And I didn't put my guy as a fighter. Oh well. Because I picked up the bug armor right away, I'll probably just one-shot all the monsters. So that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to put the super low chance of the bug armor dropping. So even though we picked it up this time from the treasure chest or from like the monsters and stuff, it's just going to be like super low chance of getting it. And I think I might have like something where like if you get a whole set of armor, it combines into like one and it saves it somewhere. So it's not taking up any slots in your inventory, but you can still switch back to that armor if you want to later in the game where like, so like instead of having like this bug armor and then like the helmet and the boots or whatever, it could just be one piece and it'll be like in a separate area from this. And oh my god, there's a lot of monsters. Yeah, so I made way more monsters spawn. This would be a lot harder if I didn't have the bug armor because I'm just one-shotting everything. And I completely changed how the bow works. So there's actually an arrow now. Before I was just using like a cube as the bullet and it was kind of bad. So I fixed it up because there's a new bow as well. There's like a longbow and the longbow shoots way faster. And the longbow, the bullets go through the monsters. So like they have like piercing where they'll hit multiple monsters at once. So let's go and purchase the bow. So it costs 300 wood to make it. And so this is like the primitive bow, but there'll be, oh, it's on the bar down there already. Let me just get rid of the pail. I'm not going to do that for a little bit. And I'll get rid of the bow and put it there. Okay, so now the bow shoots a lot faster. And if you zoom in on the actual arrows, it's an arrow. It's hard to see, but it's an actual arrow now rather than a square cube. And before I had some type of shader that was making the bullet come towards the screen because when you upgrade the bow or the gun back then, it would glow. It had like an emission, but if you zoom out too far away, the emission disappears and it looked weird. So I had a shader that was like expanding the bullet to make it appear even if you were like zoomed all the way out. And the zoom also used to zoom out a lot further. But anyway, let me put some walls back here because the bugs just kind of walked into my base there and it was pretty bad. So we'll just do like that. Okay, and then we'll drag this like this, and then we can get another person or two and get them chopping. And I'm going to go chop too, so hopefully I'll be able to actually make it to the part where I get the new bow and stuff. So basically, when you get to the Iron Age, you have to get 100 iron bars and 100 of... there's a new type of wood because there's a new tree. So when the game expands, like there's an edge to the map over here. When you get to the Iron Age, this becomes larger, so your character can go further, and there's more resources around like the edge of the thing, and there's iron and a different type of tree that you can have access to. And so the new tree drops a new resource called old wood. And so the bow is a combination of old wood and iron bars. And you also need smelters too. So when you get the iron, it comes as iron ore, but there's smelters that you have to put in order to like melt it into bars. So for 100 old wood and 100 iron, then you can make like the longbow. And it shoots way faster and it's bigger. And so you can see that there's like champion monsters as well. I turned up the rate of the spawning to make the game like a little bit more difficult. So I think they have like 5 or 10 times the health of like a normal monster, and if they do more damage too. So if they get near your stuff, then your stuff will get destroyed faster. I changed the shield so that it doesn't go blue anymore, it goes white because it's monochromatic. So like I'm trying to use less colors and more black and white, because his armor is green and some of his weapons and his stuff is going to be colored, but the majority of everything should be black and white so that that stuff stands out more. So even like in the inventory, I don't have it anymore, but you can see that like there's a blue aura like around the picture. That's going to be changed to white because it should just be black and white as much as possible. Okay, now what do I need to get the third guy? Wood. Okay, so hire another guy. Oh, I don't have 50 bug corpses yet. Okay, so I'm gonna go farm rock. So also, you need 1,000 stone to upgrade your base, and also the crafting bench has to be upgraded as well, and that also takes 500 stone. So I'm gonna need to farm like a lot of stone. So when you're like farming the stone, if you get the right angle, you can hit more rocks, and obviously you get way more stone if you're hitting like if you can hit 5, that's ideal. I think like if I was able to get into like this crevice here, I would be able to hit all 5 of these at the same time. I've also made it so that rocks eventually disappear now. So if I keep hitting these, they'll actually disappear. They don't just like stay there indefinitely like they were before. Oh, you could also press tab to switch between the characters. So if you press tab, it will just automatically go to like your next character. And you can see that the like it just changes. So these are fighters. Let me just make this guy a fighter too. It looks like I didn't assign all of them back to being choppers before I started going and farming. I think that well, I mean, I guess I would have more resources. The game is pretty easy right now, so I think it's going to become a lot harder. Like, I'm going to make it more difficult to win. So, like, if you forget to assign these people, then it needs to be, like, I don't know. And I think I'm just going to use spells to get to the next page. So, also way too many spells are dropping. You see I have 6 End the Nights, so I could just technically skip to the Iron Age without even fighting the boss. Like, I could just skip every single night until I get there. That's not going to be the case. Like, you're not going to be finding this many spells. So let me just put on... So we already have the bug helmet. Put on the boots. Oh, wait. We can get rid of this sword because we have the bug sword and we don't need that one there. Okay. So I'm just going to... What was I going to do? I'm just going to fight and then end the night. Okay, so it says prepare for the boss night. Hopefully this isn't too hard. So I'm going to click fight. Right now, you're capable of skipping the boss night by using end the night. That's not going to be an option. Obviously, in like the final one, like you're going to have to fight the boss. You're not going to be able to skip it. And also, you're not going to find like 30 end the nights or however many I found. It's too many. So there's also this spell that gives you 1 minute, and we have 6 of those, which is way too many as well. So let me just go find the iron. Oh yeah, I didn't even upgrade the base. Hang on, let me go back. So if you click upgrade down here, you can upgrade this for 1,000 stone. I fixed the rock. It was too detailed before, and the shader wasn't working properly. So now it's like properly like divised. And if divised, that's not a word. Okay. And if you click upgrade, you can upgrade the workbench. You have to upgrade the workbench in order to be able to craft the new bow. So let me quickly do that. And so then after you get the new bow, you'll be able to unlock the next building is going to be like the electricity building. So it'll be like a coal generator or something like that. And then the next building will be a drill to automatically get rocks. There'll be like an automated well system to automatically get water. And there'll be like some type of like primitive electric buildings to like kind of get some of the resources automatically. And as you expand your base, you can use these rally flags to build defense points so that your workers can cover the certain areas. So like if you put this here, for example, and you click on this, you can assign a fighter to come and guard the flag. So if you end up expanding your base, so it's huge, like all the way over here, then your fighters can be guarding the different areas of your base. And if your fighter is by here and you're over here and you press tab, you can switch to your fighter so that you can go and switch between your fighters and defend your base, because they only hit one target at a time. So like a lot of the time they're not going to be able to kill enough of like the enemies to actually defend it. So we have enough stone already. So let me just go and click upgrade. I worked a lot on this as well. So this workbench, changing like the shader is kind of hard because the way that the shader calculates where the lines get drawn, the math on that is kind of difficult. And before, like I used a modifier in Blender to make the rocks on it, but they were not visible because it was just drawing like a million lines because they're not like exactly flat. So the shader calculates angles, and if it goes over a certain threshold, that's where it's drawing the line to outline it. And so you can't just use like a modifier in Blender to do that. You have to make sure that it's completely flat on the spots. Like if there's more than one line there, then it will stop drawing lines. So like if you look at my character's head, for example, let me take off my helmet. His head is round. So, okay. So his head is round like this. So we don't want a million lines drawing a grid on his head. So in order to do that, if there's multiple lines in a row like this, then it won't draw the line unless it's specifically only two lines that are intersecting with each other at a greater than a certain amount of angle. So if there's like a rounded area, so like if you look at my workbench, if these are rounded, then the lines that are on the very edges aren't going to draw, and then it won't be visible. So it's kind of difficult to make assets for it because like in order to get the monochromatic look to it, you have to have an outline shader, and the outline shader is working based on angles. And so if you don't have the correct setup, then too many lines get drawn or too few lines get drawn. So like you can kind of see that in the rocks as well. Like if a certain angle happens, then like you can see that there's like a line here in the middle of the thing. And I have to change the trees as well, because before the tops of the trees were getting little lines at the top of it, which makes them look like, I don't know, they're just not supposed to be lines there. So anyway, let me go find the iron. Oh, so this looks like the tree. So this is the new tree that gives you the old wood, but it looks like the scale is wrong. So let me just pause the game for a sec and I'll see if I can click on it. So you can see like that's what the tree looks like. Let me just take it and I'll make the size like a normal size, and I'll just rotate it. It's supposed to have a random rotation too, but it just doesn't yet. So, oh, I rotated it the wrong way. Hang on, let's just do this. So this is what the new tree is going to look like. And so you farm it and it gives you can see at the top here that we have 3 old wood at the very top right here. That's this kind of brown looking one. So this is the normal wood at the very top, and this is the old wood right below it. You only get 1 of this per time you hit it, and you need a lot of it because all of the new buildings, like the coal generator and the stuff like the drills and stuff like that, it's all going to use the old wood. And so the thing that makes the game hard is that you have to go and farm this, and then you also need to get back to your base and defend it. And you're not going to have 20 town portals. Like that's just because I purposely, it's for debugging purposes, but you're not going to have that many in the actual game. So let me just use this spell to give me more time and see if I can find some iron, because I want to go and get the bow before I actually fight any of the monsters. But yeah, these trees are supposed to be larger. They're not supposed to be like twig sized. Okay, so here's the iron. And ideally, you would find 3 irons so that you could farm 3 of them at the same time. There is groups of 3. I mean, there's also groups of 1, so 2 is pretty good, I guess. So now that we have the iron, I'm just going to go back to the base, and I am going to use the cheat code. It's not a cheat code, it's a button that I made that does that. So if we go in here now, the old bow is not here yet, which sucks. I did the code wrong. Oh, I also fixed the Roman numeral system on the item, so you can see like there's like the Roman numeral is actually readable now, whereas before it was like ugly. And the writing is a lot neater in the inventory than it was previous. But I don't think I added the recipe. I don't know. Anyway, usually you would have to create smelters for this. It's like you create these smelters, and then in the top right, you can see your resources. So this on the right, this is your iron ore. And then every smelter you have, every 2 seconds, it will take 1 coal and 1 iron ore and convert it into an iron bar. But you're going to have to be careful or do the math later in the game because the iron, the coal will be used for electricity generation as well. And I think that you'll create one building and there'll be like a picture of like a lightning bolt or something like that. And your electricity will be counted based on that. So like every 2 seconds, it will generate 1 electricity, but electricity will be a resource that you permanently save rather than like it won't be like a consistent thing that's just constantly sucking 1 coal all the time. It will just be creating electricity as it's going. So, and then like you'll be able to have like miners that are mining the rocks that automatically give you more coal so that way you can keep everything running. I also created stone walls. So the stone walls are like this, and they have a lot more health than the wooden walls. So you can see like these are the main stone pieces, and then there's like a corner piece as well. I might have to work on like, so you can kind of see the problem that I was talking about earlier here. So you can see that like the line is kind of jagged because of how the math works. So it looks good when you're zoomed out, kind of, but it's still kind of like a broken line. So like these surfaces need to be more flat. So like even like this, for example, just like if this is, it can still be angled, but it just has to be more flat. And then the top part would have to be more flat so that a hard line would get drawn instead of like this gradual, weird looking choppy line. But anyway, I think that's all I did. Let me just see if I can give myself the bow. I don't know how I would give it to myself. I'll just have to restart the game after this and get it that way. So these are the new monsters that I made as well, like these little guys. And you can shoot them with the bow. I don't know if I showed that while I was like earlier in the game. But yeah, this is the old, like this is the first bow, like the primitive bow that you get. And it looks like it does way too much damage. So it's one-shotting everything. That's probably not normal. Anyway, I'm just going to restart. Oh, it doesn't kill that in 1 hit. Okay. I'm just going to restart the game, and I'm going to give myself the bow so that you can see the new bow. So that's how you would get it. It's kind of hard to test this stuff because like it takes so long to get to the Iron Age if you do it the normal right way. So let me just add the bow. Bow. It's called the long bow. So it's this one, I think. I don't know what the other one is. Maybe that's not. So I added it to the inventory. So this is what it looks like in the inventory. I'm probably going to change this maybe. I don't know. So you can equip it. It kind of looks a little bit different than the normal one. It's just a little bit bigger and it's got like these little dots at the very bottom. And it shoots way faster and it goes through things. So let me go open this chest. Nope. Here we go. So let me just create a base. And so I'll click fight and then so you can see that it kind of goes through the monster and it will hit the other monsters behind it. When you get further in the waves, there's going to be a lot more monsters spawning, like possibly hundreds or like thousands. So your shots are going to have to go through the enemies in order for you to have any chance of like winning. But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much what I've been working on. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. If you are, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully, I will see you guys in the next one.